He's Rich Eisen from the NFL Network, their great host who joins us now. I love leading up to the draft and all the things that are said in the games that are played. And,
Yes.
I mean, he was honest, though, when he said, these teams showed me love, and all of a sudden people were going, wait a minute. Oh, I could see him, the Eagles taking him, or Buffalo, or the Jets.
Well, I don't know. Obviously, E.J. Manuel's not a top 10 pick in the draft, so those teams are going to have to get him, the first two, with the Bills and the Eagles, either with their first pick in the second round, or package that to pop up into the first round late Thursday night and take him, which is how Tebow got drafted as a first-round quarterback back in the day with the Broncos. And the Jets, I'm not so sure they're going to go ahead and take a quarterback. In the fact that Rex has 1 year left on his deal, and should he not be the coach moving forward, I don't think they want to have a new coach come in and use a draft pick now on a quarterback that new coach may not want, and saddle that new coach with the sort of mandate that you have to come in here and play this guy because we used a pretty valuable draft pick on him the year before, even though that guy doesn't fit your offense. And, I don't know if that's the best way to draft, but that is the situation the Jets are in. And Rex also, certainly if the Jets are about to trade their best player away because of what's happening with his contract in Revis, that with just 16 games left on his contract, that Rex is going to want to play a rookie quarterback. So I don't know if the Jets are going to go quarterback in this year's draft.
Well, not first round. I don't see it, although there was talk a couple of weeks ago that they were trying to, with this trade, they didn't want to give up this year's first rounder, or they wanted the Bucs' first round pick. They were hoping to trade up and maybe get Geno Smith. So who knows? Because it's week to week that you hear about what a team is doing, either going up or heading back down, and the games that are played and all of this. Because how many teams are going to be honest when they're going to tell you what they're going to do on draft day?
Well, I had Les Snead on my podcast last week, and he said it's like election season every single minute of the day now. You just can't believe anybody saying anything. And then I asked, how could I even believe you saying that? That's that's the way things are right now. In the NFL, you can't take anything at face value. But what you can take at face value is stuff from the kids. And, asking somebody like E.J. Manuel, who's showing you the most love, you can probably get a gauge from that in that respect. But, and
I can relate to the kids. That's what it is.
Yes. I know. Well, that's you being
not
you.
My own kids, but I can relate to other kids.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do have to back my guy in Mayock, who popped E.J. Manuel up to number 2 on his quarterback draft board right after the combine. He moved him in front of Barkley, and at the time that was an eyebrow raiser for any evaluator on the pro level to do that. And he's liked Manuel as the second best quarterback in the in this draft for some time. Now that said, just asking him this past week, Mayock told me that he has no idea where to slot Geno Smith. None. Zero. He has no clue. And if anybody thinks the Bills might be interested in him, he brought up a great point that West Virginia in the Yankee Bowl took on Syracuse and Doug Marrone, now the Bills' current head coach, and Marrone was there in that awful, snowy, frigid Bronx day where Geno Smith struggled, to say the least, and one might imagine you're going to have a day or two on the docket like that in Western New York. And that is somebody who definitely had the eye test right in front of him with this top evaluator in the draft with Marrone, and that may not be a fit.
He's Rich Eisen, NFL Network, also the Rich Eisen podcast, where I have a segment. I was interviewed on the Rich Eisen podcast this week.
And the 200th one, Dan. I had to have you on a milestone show.
Any fallout from my interview with you?
Well, yes.
What?
Actually,
really?
Yeah, I got a call yesterday. Yes, I got a call yesterday from Larry Beal.
Larry Beal, the former SportsCenter anchor, who's now
Sir Lawrence of Beal
in San Francisco, I believe.
Yes.
Okay.
And he, because we were telling tons of great stories from SportsCenter past, And I do remember a time that you and Keith had a particular big show where a lot of Larry Beal's lines came out.
Well, no, it was this. Here's the backstory. Larry Beal was usually working the late Sports Center, and he used one of Keith's catchphrases, Oberman's catchphrases, and Keith thought he was doing it maybe poking fun or in a derogatory manner. So Larry Beal would always say, "with authority," when somebody would dunk. So the next night, we go in, and Keith's like, do you hear what Larry Beal did? And I go, no. He goes, and he told me, and I go, oh, okay. He goes, oh, he's going to get both barrels. So every highlight, he's doing anything that rhymes with authority, sorority, Port Authority.
Port Authority.
The entire Sports Center, it's an hour-long Sports Center, and anything he can do, he's going to go after Larry Beal and say, nobody else knows what's going on, but that's the kind of stuff that went on. There were like so many inside jokes. I'm going, who knows what Keith's doing? But he did it in an entire Sports Center, and I guess message delivered to Larry Beal. So
well, actually, it wasn't, because Larry said that 15 years later he had no idea Keith was upset with him until he heard this conversation on the podcast and tweeted that out. And Olbermann responded, like, no feud here, friend. But actually, I think they'd respond, Geronimo Baroa means goodbye first.
But he
was his first tweet. And then his second tweet was no feud here. And then his third tweet was, yeah, Rich Eisen, WTF. So I have no idea if Keith is now upset.
Uh-oh.
I responded just to let you know, if you want to shoot a messenger, DP's the one who told the story. Although I did prompt him. I did prompt you. Yeah,
but it was only one night with Obermann.
I know, that's it. That's all. Listen, it was very funny that I hadn't heard from Larry Beal in a while. And
did you hear from Big Show Bob Stevens?
No, I don't believe Big Show Bob knows my number.
Okay.
But if he does, please feel free to reach out and air me out too. But Dan, that conversation was a lot of fun, and I've gotten a tremendous amount of feedback from people about the stories that we were telling, and certainly your thoughts on if there's any outlet out there that wants to create a 1-hour show to compete against SportsCenter. What's the first, second, or third thing they should do? And it was good, and I appreciate you coming on.
NFL.com/Rich Eisen and on iTunes. Am I going to see you next week in New York?
Yes. Yeah, I'll come in.
Okay, but
coming down. We're arranging. Fritz is arranging.
Okay, all right. Just don't big time me, because I'll go Trey Wingo on your ass in a second.
No, I know that. I understand the ramifications. I understand what you're asking.
Okay.
And you understand what you're asking, right?
Yes,
you're asking me essentially to take the Staten Island ferry.
Yes.
To go all the way downtown. But I'm a next level.
Susie Kolber is calling in, Fritzy? Is that who's calling in?
I'm a next level guy. And I'm coming down. But if like I said on my show, if I come down, would I get more than
Wendy
one
Nix
segment?
is called in? Is Wendy Nix going to join us
We
there?
do have Wendy on the line.
Okay. Oh, yeah, yes. What was that, Rich?
Dan, don't sit here and think that the mothership would allow Wendy Nix to come
Kevin
on your show.
Nagani is what? Who's on the phone? Who's on the phone?
Dan Bickley's on the phone.
Oh, yeah. All right, so I'll see you next week.
All right, buddy.
All right, Rich Eisen, NFL Network host. Man, it's a big schedule release party. I don't know how to party. I don't know what to serve.